In this month's video, Sheriff Reese would like to talk about the recent inspection at the detention center by the Oregon State Sheriff's Association. He'll also recognize staff for their efforts in this year's Tip a Cop event and talk to you about legislative changes that will impact courthouse operations. He'll update you on recent promotions at Chief Deputy rank in both the Corrections Division and the Business Service Division. Of course, we'll introduce you to the new hires this month and congratulate those who are retiring from the agency.
I want to congratulate Captain Jeff Wheeler and the entire staff of the Multnomah County Detention Center on the results of the 2017 Oregon State Sheriff's Association jail inspection. Your success marks the first time MCSO has received a 100% compliance rating in all 309 standards across all the categories, ranging from inmate health care and inmate programs to activities, sanitation, maintenance, and security and control.
The Multnomah County Detention Center was inspected by a group of jail professionals from around the state to ensure our compliance with the Oregon jail standards. The Oregon State Sheriff's Association put these standards in place to ensure that all jails operate in compliance with ORS and industry best practices.
I'd also like to recognize the specific efforts of Sergeant Brandon White and Deputy Jessica Lowe, who spent over 250 hours preparing for this inspection. Your hard work raises the bar for MCSO as we look towards next year's inspection of the Inverness Jail. This month, we welcomed several new hires to the Law Enforcement, Corrections, and Business Services divisions of the Sheriff's Office. With new talent comes fresh ideas and perspectives and provides the energy needed for MCSO's continued development and growth. I appreciate the efforts of the Human Resources Unit in recruiting and processing a diverse and capable group of new employees to join the agency. Please welcome our new hires as they begin working in their positions. We also celebrated the return of Deputy Brett Winders from a long-term military deployment in Iraq. Brett was hired by the Sheriff's Office in 2013 and is a sergeant in the Army National Guard. I want to thank Deputy Winders and all veterans here at MCSO for their service. There were several additions to the Sheriff's Office command team, starting with the promotion of Lieutenant Craig Anspaugh, whose daughter stepped up to the podium with something to say.
I'm proud of my dad.
And this month's ceremony was particularly special as I had the unique privilege of promoting 3 members to the rank of Chief Deputy. The first was Chief Deputy Nicole Morrissey O'Donnell, who will lead the Services section of the Corrections Division.
My vision as Chief Deputy of Corrections Services is to work with our staff, our elected officials, and the community to ensure a mutual understanding of the programming and services that we offer to the adults in our custody.
Next was Chief Deputy Derek Peterson, who will lead the Facility section of the Corrections Division.
My vision for the Corrections Facility Division is to first provide excellent training for staff. They work in a very difficult environment. Next, I would like to hit head-on the reasons why people are coming into our jail.
Lastly, Director of Business Services Art Balazan received his DPSST certification and was promoted to Chief Deputy of Business Services.
We have a philosophy in business services of how do we get to yes. We have limited resources, limited personnel. When we have a request, we're asked to provide something. It might not be on its face possible, but we will figure out how we can do that. And that's the total team effort that we have in business services.
Earlier this month, several members from MCSO, along with public safety professionals across the country, took part in the annual Tip a Cop event. Sponsored and hosted by Red Robin Restaurants, officers partnered with wait staff to take customer orders, deliver meals, and bus tables in return for tips. 100% of the proceeds are then donated to benefit Special Olympics. This year, we served out burgers at locations at Mall 205 and Gresham Station and earned an impressive $8,000 in overall donations. If you'd like to participate in a future event, please contact Lieutenant Mark Schrake for dates and details. Sgt Keith Crappie is the only member retiring from MCSO in October, and I want to thank him for his dedication and service to Multnomah County throughout his career. As a public safety professional, he provided an invaluable service to this community, and I wish him the very best retirement will bring. One of the core functions of the Sheriff's Office is facilitating access to the court system for adults in MCSO custody and providing security and protection for both judicial staff and the public at the Multnomah County Courthouse and Justice Center. To do so effectively requires an enormous amount of resources and presents daily logistical challenges that involve several different units and personnel within our agency. Last year, for example, the transport unit moved over 19,000 people back and forth between the courts and jail facilities, and there were over 11,000 court proceedings requiring an MCSO staff member to be present. Two recent events have occurred on the federal and state level that fundamentally impact the way in which adults in custody are supervised while in the courtroom, and I wanted to provide you with more information about the reasons why these have come about and what they mean for MCSO. The first was a decision made by the Ninth Circuit Court in May regarding the use of restraints in the courtroom.
On May 31st of this year, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals issued its decision in USA versus Sanchez-Gomez. The importance of that decision was that the court held that pretrial detainees may not be restrained at any juncture of the court proceeding unless the government can make a compelling showing of need.
Prior to this decision, all individuals in Multnomah County were escorted to court in both leg restraints and, depending on the circumstances, either handcuffs or waist chains. Once in the courtroom, handcuffs were removed, but the person remained in leg restraints to prevent an escape attempt. As a result of the recent court decision, however, our process has changed. In the vast majority of cases, individuals are now escorted in handcuffs only, which are removed, as before, once the person is inside the courtroom. If after reviewing the circumstances, staff believe it is necessary the person remain restrained while in the courtroom, they need to prepare a declaration in support of restraints and present it to the judge for determination prior to appearance.
Well, the Ninth Circuit said in its Sanchez-Gomez decision that when a court is reviewing an application for a determination of restraints, it should look at four primary factors. And it boils down to a history of disruptive behavior in the courtroom, escapes or attempted escapes, a history of assault or attempted assaults, and really if there's been a pattern of behavior that's defiant towards corrections officials or judicial officials.
Beginning Monday, October 30th, the request for restraints becomes a more formal process and requires additional organization and preparation on our part.
There will be a restraint docket that will be held at 8:30 in presiding court Monday through Friday. In preparation, Court Services Unit staff will review and assess each person that is attending court the following day. Where necessary, declarations in support of restraints will be completed and submitted. It's important for staff to understand that the documentation provided in their reports and their SIMS entries are primary sources of information in support of these declarations.
In addition to this, Oregon State Senate Bill 505 was enacted last July and was designed to provide more transparency by allowing the defense access to testimony and evidence given during grand jury proceedings. The law will first go into effect in Multnomah County, Deschutes County, and Jackson County, with the rest of the state scheduled to begin no later than July 2019. While the law only requires that an audio recording or transcript of the proceedings be provided to the defense, Multnomah County will, in most cases, actually be moving away from a grand jury and to a public hearing.
As a result of some changes in state law to grand jury proceedings and recordings of those proceedings, the District Attorney's Office has made a determination that there should be more preliminary hearings rather than indictments through grand jury. As a result, there's going to be more accused making court appearances than they otherwise would in the grand jury process. And because they will be unrestrained as a result of the Sanchez-Gomez decision, MCSO has to take alternative measures to ensure court security.
On November 6th, preliminary hearings will be held in JC1, which presents a number of unique security challenges. We are in the process of adapting the courtroom in a number of ways to safely accommodate these hearings, and there's a construction project currently underway. The most visible piece of the work being done is a transparent physical barrier between the gallery, the defendant, and their legal counsel.
With these changes comes new concerns relative to both our process and courtroom security. I'm working with command staff to determine where physical barriers, staffing, or operational changes will best facilitate a safe and efficient court process, I'll be looking for your input. To assist in this endeavor, we have hired a consultant to help in reviewing courthouse operations, including our interagency protocols with the District Attorney's Office, state courts, and defense bar. Stay safe out there.